What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost. It was only a few months ago that we got the insane announcement that Microsoft was buying Bethesda. Overall, they're buying ZeniMax Media, but of course Bethesda is included in that, and that is what everyone was talking about because of what that means. The names and the IPs and the franchises that are associated and under the umbrella of Bethesda. Franchises like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom. These massive franchises that potentially are now going to be subject to console exclusivity, which is not something any of us were really thinking about just a few months ago. But it really brought up that question, and the entire gaming world was focused on that. Well, we don't quite have all the answers to that, but we do have some amplifying information, as well as an enormous step forward to completing that purchase. You can see the headline here. EU approves Microsoft's $7.5 billion Bethesda acquisition. Microsoft will have 23 first-party game studios. Now, there is some news out there. There are some people running with the fact that they think it's essentially approved in the United States as well, because of this one certain form that's being reported by a lot of different news sites. That is not completely true. That is not completely accurate. And I'm glad that I was able to watch this video by Richard Hogue of Hogue Law to kind of point out why that's not true. It has been approved in Europe, but it has not quite finalized the process in the United States yet. That is still one more hurdle to climb, but it is very much expected that it will happen. But I did want to point out the distinction because a lot of people are out there are talking about it being completely done. It's a done deal, and that's not quite the story. And shout out to Legacy Killer as well for putting this and retweeting, giving that a boost for Hogue Law. Many gaming outlets running with articles claiming the Microsoft Bethesda deal is complete. That is not the case. It's probably close, but Hogue Law breaks it down. The merger has not been approved in the USA despite misleading reports. But this is what we do know. Shout out to The Verge for this one. The European Commission has approved Microsoft's $7.5 billion deal to acquire ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Doom and Fallout studio Bethesda Softworks. Microsoft's deal has been approved by the EU without conditions, as it, quote, does not raise serious doubts as to its capability within the common market. The acquisition required EU approval before Microsoft could finalize the Bethesda deal and bring future games to its Xbox Game Pass subscription. Once the deal is fully closed, Microsoft's list of first-party studios will jump to 23, following the addition of Bethesda sub-studios like Arcane, Machine Games, id Software, and Tango Gameworks. Microsoft appears to be planning to keep Bethesda running separately with its existing leadership. The approach seems to have worked for Mojang, LinkedIn, and GitHub, which all have continued to run separately after Microsoft acquired them. Now, this has really been an interesting thing on a lot of fronts, because the idea that Microsoft could go ahead and make these console exclusives for Xbox and of course still put it on PC as well, that talk is definitely out there. That's a big fear that a lot of people have, especially PlayStation owners or Nintendo owners, I guess, as well, that they might not be able to play these games anymore, the ones that continue to get published by Bethesda. These franchises that they like, they might have to go out and buy an Xbox or buy a PC if they want to play it. As of this point, Microsoft and Bethesda have been very hush-hush in talking about all of these different possible scenarios. Microsoft originally announced its plan to acquire Bethesda in September, promising to honor PS5 exclusivity commitments for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Games like The Elder Scrolls Online will also continue to be supported exactly as was, so that is a good thing. Everything that is out there is obviously going to be maintained on the consoles that it's currently on. How Microsoft handles future Bethesda titles will come down to a case-by-case basis, according to comments from Microsoft gaming chief Phil Spencer in September. It's still not clear how Microsoft plans to handle the upcoming space epic Starfield. Microsoft might not even have to launch future Bethesda games exclusively on Xbox. Just having them on day one on Game Pass might be a big enough draw in itself for players to subscribe. And I do kind of, I know that it doesn't make sense, right? Why would you spend all this money and not make exclusive? I do think that there is more money for them to be had from the software side of things, putting it on all these different potential markets, than it necessarily would be if they maintained it exclusive, and the amount of people that would buy Xboxes or whatever to make that happen. I think it is going to be a deal to incentivize people to get Game Pass for sure, because it's going to be a massive deal. Maybe you might get a couple months of exclusivity, but I do think they are going to try to reap the benefits of the high profit margins of selling software, because as we've seen in recent years, hardware you're not really making a ton of money on hardware. Sometimes you're not even breaking even like we saw with PlayStation. You're really making your money in these software sales. So I think there's a chance that they do continue to make it available on PlayStation consoles, because that is a huge market that I think they're going to want to capitalize on. And the idea that Phil Spencer even recently has said, questioned about exclusivity in games before, that might lead me toward that as well. Now, of course, that was before they bought Bethesda, I think. That was back when Sony was mainly the ones doing these big console exclusives. Obviously, Halo is the biggest thing currently that Xbox has, the franchise that is only available on Xbox and PC, but this Bethesda deal is massive, and how it shakes out, if it does eventually get approved in the United States, which everyone agrees upon, the fallout from this, could be absolutely massive. And as Tony Polanco tweeted out, Twitter will go thermonuclear when Microsoft officially announces future Bethesda games are Xbox exclusives. Yeah, if that would happen, there would be a lot of salty people. There would be a lot of outrage. And I kind of think this will happen as well. They'll announce them as Xbox Game Pass exclusives. Key difference gets around the fact they will also come to PS5 Switch later. We'll see. There's a lot to be had here that is still in the works. They don't know. They haven't told us at least what they're going to do. Who knows if they actually know what their plans are. But one big step forward, getting approved in Europe. Now it's just that US approval that is still required. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Do you think that Bethesda games, future Bethesda games, should be available on all platforms? Should they continue doing it the same way they have been? They said that studio is basically going to remain as is. They're just obviously going to reap the benefits from it now. Or do you think they're going to go all in and make it Microsoft exclusive for PC and Xbox? Let me know in the comments below. It's a big debate going on right now. I want to hear your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my PO box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.